All right, guys, welcome again to the weekly Bitcoin show where we talk about Bitcoin news because the media gets it so wrong. So we're here today with a couple people again, and we're here with somebody new we haven't had on the show yet, Alex Stirk. Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, we got Theo here. As usual, he seems to be joining us every time. He loves
Yeah,
to
what's
talk
up?
Bitcoin news. How you doing, Theo?
I'm doing great. I was just at the Micro Bitcoin conference here on Blab, and now I'm at Bitcoin News. We're going nonstop, back to back.
Yeah, Theo doesn't mess around, people. Theo is everywhere. He's like the wind. You can't see him. He's everywhere. All right. So let's kick off the show, guys. We got our first topic here. Let me paste it into the chat. This one's kind of funny, I think. Let me paste it in here. So we got first topic of the day is CFTC commissioner. The blockchain could cut Wall Street jobs. Alex, let me hear your commentary on this. What do you think about that?
Well, I've always kind of likened Bitcoin and the blockchain to Blockbuster and Netflix. Like, brick and mortar just can't compete with a cloud service that really requires very little resource to run. So it's just the first of many. And yeah, like, if this thing's got a built-in accounting system, what's the point of having people crunching numbers all day?
Absolutely, absolutely, it's true. Theo, what do you think?
Just a second.
No problem. we tend to multitask, so we're drinking. We're
Excuse
eating,
me. I think that actually, that's one of the arguments for a lot of businesses to use blockchain technology, whether that's private blockchain technology or using the Bitcoin blockchain, is that you're more efficient and you can cut jobs, and that's how you'll make more money. So I definitely see that as a way to go. Now, it could also just be replaced with different people will be working, because you'll have to have people. There'll probably be some really nice titles like blockchain consultant engineer, or I don't know, some other kind of weird, interesting Merkle tree expert or something like that, and they'll be having the jobs, and the guys that are just sitting in the office pushing paper, they'll be out.
Yep, that's what it seems like. Yeah, it seems like, the blockchain is here to cut the fat. It's going to really go through Wall Street like a knife through butter. It's going to cut through all the fat. And because, between all the centralized mechanisms they have for clearing and these types of things, and all of the people they have just for the simplest tasks that really computers are really good at, I think that those people are going to go away. And it's people are thinking, oh, it's going to be terrible, all the people are going to lose these jobs on Wall Street. But I tell you what, it's going to be better for society. Instead of going and working at a job that takes away from society, they're going to hopefully find a job that can maybe give something back to society, because society is going to benefit from Wall Street switching over to blockchains, and it's going to save money for everybody. It's going to save money on remittance. It's going to save money on your fees. It's going to drive fees absolutely down. Because right now that's their bread and butter. We're talking Wells Fargo's like annual profit on fees is like something like $300 billion annually. It's absolutely ridiculous, taking money away from the poorest people.
I think they'll figure out another way to make money. If it's not on fees, they'll just raise it somewhere else. But
Yep.
yeah, I definitely everyone's going to have to change their model, and yeah, I think there will be some fat cut.
Well, and all these guys have done is just functioned as a clog in the pipeline, like a toll booth. So if there's a faster pipeline forming somewhere else, the market will discover it. So yeah, this is great just for providing incentive for people to become more efficient. We see it with telecom companies, and every industry has to have its fat trimmed at some point. So this is just the next in line.
It's true, as Andreas likes to say, Bitcoin really is the third wave of the internet. And this is what it's doing. It's cutting through. It's disrupted media companies, the music industries and such, and now it's coming for finance. There were some articles about Wall Street, about Silicon Valley is coming for Wall Street, and that's true, because they've had a multi-hundred-year monopoly. Maybe it goes back even, dating back maybe hundreds of years before that, if you really want to get into it. But for sure, they've had a very long monopoly, and it's finally it looks like it's finally coming to an end. I think it's going to. Bitcoin is, it's been said a few times, but Bitcoin is going to do for finance what the internet did for information. It's going to set it free. So let's see here. Let's move on to the next topic. This is kind of funny here. Let me see 1 second. Because I wanted to do a couple of different links here, but let's do this one first. Because basically, I'm going to paste in a couple links. And it's kind of funny because JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and such just recently got downgraded by the S&P, and at the same time that they're getting downgraded by the S&P, they're starting to actually sing praises for the blockchain. So it's actually kind of hilarious that all this is going on at the same time. And the link that I just pasted in is a little bit about that. But the link that I want to talk about is, again, a couple of these links, these banks starting to finally sing the praises of the blockchain. And so the first link I really want to talk about is the Dutch bank blockchain tech will go mainstream in the next decade, and then Goldman Sachs saying that blockchain is ready for center stage. So tell me, guys, Alex, what do you think about this?
I think Goldman Sachs has been notorious for abusing their media exploits. Like they're constantly doing the opposite call. So maybe actually this is probably not good news to hear that from Goldman with the Bitcoin price. Maybe it will rope some people in before we get a bit more of a downtrend. But yeah, Goldman needs to go the way of the dodo. Like they just haven't been functioning well in the market.
Yep, very true, very true. Theo, tell me what you think about this.
I like that, the way of the dodo. That's a great way. I don't know. I'm not surprised, and I like that, Alex. That's good. I'm wondering if that's what they were thinking when they made their Euro USD call this past week, because there's a really funny tweet that shows the date time. Zero Hedge called it. He said, "Check it out, guys. Goldman is saying that it's a good risk reward to go short now on Euro USD, and then Draghi, basically screwed everyone in the ass that was short, and we had the biggest move up in Euro since 2009, I think, biggest one-day move. So they were really wrong. Now, if they did that on purpose to give out the information, or they're just screwed, I don't know. But it's an entertaining tweet, and they're big, and they know that. I don't think they're going away anytime soon, really. I mean, for them to be downgraded, all right. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the opposite, that they're good, but maybe it's worse than what they're advertising. Could also be. There is a lot of chatter going around about subprime auto debt, subprime other, not house, but there's like a new wave. And it's just a lot of chatter. I don't have a lot of hard data on it, but I think that there could be something up.
Interesting. Yeah, with the markets fixed as they are, you never quite know. It's this, just like the subprime housing markets were mostly fixed forever. So to hide what was happening, who knows what they're hiding now. I can tell you, it seems like we're heading into a post overprinting, a post quantitative easing bubble here, and I think that's going to level out some things. So very interesting. Anything else to say on that, you guys?
Just kind of building off what Theo was saying with the subprime auto leasing. Like, a lot of people don't realize that, like, GMC, like, and Chrysler, these companies aren't just automakers; they're finance companies. Like, they carry a lot of debt with the automobiles that they're producing, like, daily. And you wonder where's all the money coming from to buy these gas guzzlers. So there's a lot of fear, I guess, coming over the horizon with, like, new technology and whatnot. So we might see them flying back to Washington in their private jets for more money.
Yeah, oil tanked, so they're not going to have to worry about gas prices in a while. But I did hear that pickups are, like, really rising in sales, and the auto companies are doing really well. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I agree. A lot of that is fueled with probably what could be called subprime or whatever, not prime, medium grade loans. And, that could come to a quick end if we see something drastic. Now, I think the big question also with JP Morgan and Goldman and all those guys, what is Miss Yellen going to do now that Draghi kind of the market was expecting that he was going to pump up the economy more, and he just said, "Well, I'm just pumping it up a little. Ha ha ha! Do whatever I want." And now, is Yellen going to raise rates because of this good unemployment data, or quote good unemployment data, or is she going to just trick everyone and not do anything? I don't know what's going to happen at this point. I mean, I want to say she's going to raise, but let's see whatever Goldman Sachs says is probably going to be the opposite.
That's Monday, right? I think Monday.
I don't know. I'm so confused. There's so much stuff this week. I don't know. I thought it was Friday. Yeah. Well, what it is what they're doing is they're having a lot of talks, like just talks, like appearances to kind of set up, or I don't know, or feeling out. I don't know why, but I don't think it's that typical to have so many. Or maybe it's just that everyone is putting it under the microscope this time. But there's a lot of talks leading up to the official decision. And I think there's some feeling out. Maybe it's just kind of, testing the waters. But I don't know. Now that JP Morgan made that really bad decision with Euro USD, if they're making a call on Yellen, then I would say bet the opposite.
I concur.
Yeah, that seems like the plan. Yeah, very true. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This is interesting because this is kind of going on now. The expectations are high for the block size debate at the Hong Kong summit in Hong Kong right now. It's I think, let me check the thing here. Yeah, that's going to be in 2 hours and 37 minutes. Day one starts for that conference. So, talking about the block size debate and the halving and all that kind of stuff. What do you think, Alex? What do you think about all that?
I really hope we can, come up with a solution, because I really, for a decentralized governance model, we haven't really got a whole lot accomplished. I'm sure you could say the same for the Senate and everything too, but I just want to see some progress. Let's get a decision and a timeline, but hopefully we can get some good coming out of it. Last time we had a lot of discussion on the block size, it kind of correlated to a downtrend in the market, which I'm kind of expecting. So maybe we'll see, I guess, that kind of feeding into that fire.
Yeah, I think it is gonna free people out a little bit before we finally make a decision, and I think that's gonna affect the price towards the end of the year. As it is now, and maybe even into January. Basically, they're going to probably set it up so that it's going to go nice and low right before the halving frenzy starts. So, Theo, what do you think about this block size debate in Hong Kong?
Mm-hmm. It's the Scaling Bitcoins. It's even called Scaling Bitcoins workshop. I don't expect a concrete solution to come out of it, and I hope no one did. But I think there will be some good. So I hope there's some good out of it, some cooperation, and I believe they've been partying since Friday, so I hope that helped. I looked on the schedule and it said first thing Friday, party. So that's really interesting. Get everyone nice and hungover for the real conference. But I think that I've seen a lot of what I call media offensive leading up to this from the BIP 101 camp, which I don't like. That my gut feeling says something's up with that. I don't like that. I think it's just weird, so I want to be open to all the proposals, but I think there's just some kind of weirdness going on with the XT and the BIP 101 people. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, the technical side of it is reasonable, I guess, but the political stuff that's going on with it is kind of weird. Let's just put it like that. And as far as the market is concerned, I expect some kind of volatility in whatever direction during I'm waiting for someone to post some kind of article on Medium that says Bitcoin is doomed if they don't adopt BIP 101 tomorrow, and then everyone dumps. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think that something like that, just wait until someone. Maybe it won't happen, but someone. I don't know, it's almost, I think since everyone is really sensitive to the block size discussion, we saw what happened when XT was announced in the summer. Everyone's really sensitive. It's almost like these things that happen when the Fed speaks and everything. Everyone's kind of like watching, and most conferences don't matter that much. A lot of people said it doesn't matter. It does, well, I think this one matters a little more. Let's see. We'll see what happens. I'm just expecting volatility. We saw a decent up move heading into the conference. Let's see what happens.
Yep, I agree with what you guys are saying. And, it's really not, I don't think, designed to be an end-all, be-all type of conference, but I really think that it is designed to really be an anchor or a placeholder or a mile marker, on this debate that's ongoing. And we really do have to figure something out pretty soon. The deadline is January, for 101 and such. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen, what's going to come out of this. But yeah, I agree with you, Theo, on this. The 101 stuff seems kind of fishy. The XT stuff seems fishy, how they went about it and things like that. And, with all of the bickering aside and stuff like that, I still just don't think that it was a right move to just completely fork Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, that's why it's open source. We have to be vigilant. We have to protect ourselves. We have to police ourselves and know when we're dropping the ball for the community. So I'm going to see. I think that what's going to come out of this conference is a lot of news stories, and which is going to help propel the conversation forward. And so we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. So I think and also too, I do think that they're going to come out with some news stories that's going to scare people to dump right before we see the halving frenzy. I think that's the plan. That's part of the plan. Maybe even why the conference is at that particular moment, because everybody really is expecting the halving frenzy to start in the spring. And so we'll see how it goes. It should dip before then, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see. Let's go on to the next topic. This one's kind of an interesting one. Let me paste it into the chat. Let's see here. We got Barbados and Bitcoin. Central bankers advise the island nation to hold Bitcoin in its foreign reserves. Tell me, Alex, what do you think about this story?
Yeah, weren't they calling for like a $100 million return on their investment or something?
Yeah, so it's some huge, ridiculous number like that.
Yeah, they're bullish on it, but I think this is kind of where Bitcoin will succeed and strive, is these smaller governments that they're kind of looking at both the USD as a global reserve, but then they want an alternative. It's just there's not many out there. So I guess more of the progressive governments that see the benefit in new technology, I think you're going to see a lot more of these stories with small countries starting to adopt it or to look at it as more of a safe bet for their store of wealth. I like it. Yeah, it's great to hear.
Yeah, it seems like every country needs to hold some type of reserves of cryptocurrency, and of course, they're not going to realize that the big ones first won't realize that till the very last. But as they see more and more of these smaller countries holding Bitcoin, and what it will do for the Bitcoin community and for the world economy, I think that they're going to start waking up and start thinking, hey, maybe we should hold a little bit for ourselves. Theo, what do you think about this?
Sure, why not? It's if your currency is not stable, or you want a kind of backup. I mean, I could see that as an alternative to have in your basket. It's definitely a risk. We all know the volatility, but the advantage is that you can use it anywhere. So that is definitely interesting use case. And I think, like I said, adding it as part of your basket, well, why not? I mean, maybe they're pretty savvy investors. They think it's going to go up for the halving. I don't know. I think that, I guess like I said, I think just for a country, if you think you're not sure about the dollar, even though I think the dollar is really strong right now, but you're not sure about your own currency, maybe throw a little Bitcoin in there too, and that you could say that's hedging against some of the other risk.
And that's a big reason why I don't understand why more countries don't do it, just so that they can freaking hedge against the.
Well, there was this article going around with IMF and something or another, and they want to maybe someone said, "Oh, just add Bitcoin to the basket; it could be really good." I mean, it's pretty speculation. It's not someone from the IMF, I don't believe, but that were seriously saying, hey, that might be really clever to include it in the basket. And it was more of the sense, what if Bitcoin were to take over, then the IMF wouldn't be able to do anything. So they need to have a good amount in reserve. Well, that would have to buy a lot. One of the issues they had in the article is sourcing it, is they would have to hold so much that there would be no way for them to source it right now. It would be really difficult. So anyway, I think that, that's kind of like in a way, a kind of mini version of that if a country is holding it. And, let's see, maybe if it's successful, then other countries will follow suit and they can see how they can, with very low friction, transfer, value amongst themselves. And they say, hey, this is pretty cool. We don't have to, go through some of the other processes. We're also independent of things like IMF, so that could be really attractive for some countries.
Yep. I think this is just another sign, of Bitcoin's growth and evolution, that these countries are actually starting to think, hey, maybe I should hold some of this. Maybe we should have a little bit of this in order to stay relevant and in order to help the economy and to keep our economy from collapsing, like what happened with Greece and Iceland and Argentina and so on and so forth. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And people are waking up with it now that we have the internet. People, because before people tend to forget every 10 years, and something that happened 10 years ago, the next generation, people might not understand. But now with the internet, everything is there. Everything is documented. They're going to look at their tweets from a few years ago, their Facebook posts from a few years ago saying, man, what the hell? The banks just did this. And now when it's happening again, they just only have so much rope now, just enough to really hang themselves with at this point. So let's see. Let's move on to the next topic. Let's see. This one's super fun. Check this one out. Oh, that was the title, not the link. Paste this in. So this is Russia's finance ministry wants to ban Bitcoin, but not the blockchain. Tell me, Alex, what do you think about that decision?
I don't think they're really mutually exclusive ideas. Like, you can't have blockchains without having the blockchain. But this, I think their concern is towards their own currency, and then also maybe their gold reserves that they're kind of going for. So if they want to create their own currency on a blockchain, that's maybe what they're going for. But manipulation, I think, would be one of the key things they're looking for. So we'll see how their blockchain comes up with that sort of scenario.
Absolutely. And again, we said it before, all of these private blockchains are essentially intranets. And these intranets are, in this day and age, completely useless without being able to connect to the internet. And this is what Bitcoin is going to represent, the internet of money. So you can't expect these private blockchains to be very successful on their own without eventually interfacing with Bitcoin somehow. Theo, what do you think about this craziness?
Yeah, similar. I want to ban the internet, but not websites. Or I want to ban websites, but not the internet. Or I want to ban databases, but not HTML. Just like really kind of funny. Probably they don't totally get it, but they have to do something. So a lot of these decisions by governments, or at least what is out in the media, is just so they look like they're doing something. Remember, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Came out, EU going to take a look at Bitcoin privacy. Everyone was like, oh yeah, the EU is going to ban this shit. It's, ISIL, blah, whatever. It was just like one paragraph of some media thing that got retweeted and sent out everywhere, and it ended up being basically nothing. So, it's just, Russia has banned Bitcoin a few times now, according to the media. I can't keep track of how many times I've heard it. There is another aspect, though, in Russia. I have seen videos of one or two guys in their parliament, or whatever you call it there. I forgot exactly. I think it is called a parliament. And he is convinced that it's a conspiracy from the CIA because of the whole, electronic money papers and all. I mean, he's, talking deep stuff. And he's convinced that it's a thing to destabilize Mother Russia. And, it's from the CIA and so on. And who knows? He might be partially right. I don't know. But I think that it's just a matter of remaining relevant and looking like you're doing something. And they probably figured out, oh yeah, wait, some banks like the word blockchain, so we better say that's okay. And it's just, saving face, that kind of thing, I think.
And I think you're seeing the word blockchain pop up way more now than Bitcoin. It's more from an IT perspective. People are starting to see the technology side of this, the benefits of it. So yeah, they're throwing their hat in the ring. They don't realize what all comes with it. So they're trying to say that they're not going to be pro Bitcoin, but it's really difficult to make that indication without saying they're endorsing Bitcoin by saying the technology behind it is valid, but no, the token that runs the best one is not valid. Like it just doesn't make any sense that way. So this is more from an IT perspective to see a lot of people starting to use the word Bitcoin or blockchain and being really bullish on the technology side of it now.
Yeah, it's really great, because it's going to intrigue a lot of IT, and they're going to look into it, and they're going to figure out, blockchain. Okay, maybe I should look into that. They're going to look into it, and they're going to see, once they look into it, what the hell is the point of having a private blockchain? It's just no different than essentially a private database. We can do most of the stuff faster with SQL databases. So they're going to look into it, and they're going to figure out that, oh wow, Bitcoin is really where it's at, where they need to be. So I think it's great. They're going to, like you said, pretty much unbeknownstly, really pump Bitcoin and put out the word for Bitcoin as they continue to talk about the technology behind Bitcoin instead of Bitcoin itself. It's still going to put more attention on the Bitcoin. Awesome. Yeah. Actually, somebody in the comments on CoinDesk, one of my favorite comments, this guy says, TCP, this guy's doing a comparison. TCP/IP is okay, but don't use data packets. That's essentially the analogy that they're trying to do. Blockchain is okay, but not Bitcoin. So that the hypocrisy is so visible to those of us who are in the technology space. So yeah, it's not gonna. I don't think we're gonna stand for it, and I think people are going to flock to the open network just like they flocked to the internet once they realized that AOL and CompuServe were these gatekeepers that wouldn't let them in to this global information space.
And yeah, one thing we were mentioning earlier in the other chat we were doing today, that if we start seeing more private blockchains, like we're probably going to start seeing a battle of blockchains, like where botnets maybe start taking down these networks because the critical mass just isn't there to protect themselves. And that's really what Bitcoin has going for it, is the mass and adoption rate. So if these private chains start coming up, they really got to go full bore right off the bat. Or I've seen enough shitty altcoin launches to know that you need to have some pretty good power behind your network if you hope to succeed or even stay relevant.
That's very true. I didn't even think about that. I mean, people could definitely be taking down these networks just like they take down the altcoins. You just can't do that to Bitcoin. It's just so huge, and with every day and every month and every year that goes by, it just keeps getting more powerful. The hashes, I think we just had another record recently, a couple weeks ago, of a hashing.
Yeah, there was a spike, and I think it was well timed around the 21 computers going out. I don't think it was all these Raspberry Pis getting plugged in, but I think it was probably the bulk order of chips that they got. They have their own mining facility that probably got turned on for a couple days just to see what their burn rate is. So I think there's a lot of miners sitting at the ready right now to really kick the difficulty up when it requires it.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. Well, that's all the stories I had this week. Sometimes the show lasts half an hour. Sometimes it lasts 2.5 hours. When you get Chris Ellis on and, he starts going on his rants, I love it. But I'm gonna cut the show a little bit short today, this week, because there is so much other stuff going on right now on Blab with Bitcoin. We got the micro Bitcoin conference, I think it's called, right? Going on right now across Blab. So
I'll just plug the show that I do as well too with Decentral Vancouver, Block Talk. If anyone wants to find us online, just search up Block Talk or hashtag Block Talk, and we're pretty easy to find. We just had a conversation with the Open Bazaar team about their decentralized marketplace, and then next week I'm I'm planning on having a chat with the storage team, Storage Coin, and I believe Theo's going to join us for that. So, check us out. Hashtag BlockDoc.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. We definitely let everybody, plug their stuff at the end. We try to ask you guys where the audience could find you. So that's awesome. Theo seemed to bug out there a little bit early, but you can always find Theo around. This show is going up on the World Crypto Network, so you can find Theo there, the World Crypto Network on the YouTube channel. You can find him in his weekly show he does about technical analysis. And so you can find us all there on the World Crypto Network Slack or the YouTube channel. Check us out. And, of course, I'm at the One Vortex on Twitter, so you can follow me. I tend to just talk about pretty much Bitcoin and stuff like that and interject myself into other people's conversations. That's about Bitcoin. That's that's the funness of Twitter. So you guys can check us back here. We're here every Saturday at 2 o'clock. We usually have a little bit more people, but it's just been a busy week. Chris Ellis completed his awesome 12-hour Bitcoin node project where he built Bitcoin nodes for 12 hours straight on camera live. And so you can definitely check that out. That's at Mr. Chris Ellis on Twitter as well. So check us out, guys. World Crypto Network. We'll be back here next Saturday at 2 o'clock. Thanks for joining in. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Take it easy. See you later.